Tell Me Everything by Elizabeth Strout. Audiobook. Book summary in English. Tell Me Everything by Elizabeth Strout is an intricate and thought-provoking exploration of human connection, memory, and the quiet, often invisible dramas of everyday life. Set in the coastal town of Crosby, Maine, this novel reveals the internal landscapes of its characters through an intricate web of personal histories, unspoken emotions, and the kind of everyday moments that shape the course of one's existence. Strout, known for her remarkable ability to probe into the depths of her characters' psyches, crafts a deeply emotional narrative that unfolds at a pace both deliberate and surprising. The novel asks the reader to consider how little we truly know about the people closest to us, even as we think we understand their stories. At the heart of Tell Me Everything is the character of Bob Burgess, a lawyer in his early 60s, who, though not flamboyant, serves as an embodiment of human vulnerability. Bob lives in Crosby with his wife, Margaret, a compassionate and thoughtful Unitarian minister, who offers a steadying influence on his life. On the surface, their marriage appears content, the kind of partnership that seems solid and unaffected by the dramas and traumas that shape others. But underneath, Bob carries the weight of a childhood incident, an accident that claimed the life of his father, that has never fully left him. This tragedy, along with a series of decisions made in the years following, has defined Bob in ways he is reluctant to confront. His struggles with guilt, regret, and unacknowledged feelings about the past form a central tension in the narrative. As Bob approaches a turning point in his life, his weekly walks with Lucy Barton, a novelist who is new to Crosby, become a way for him to begin to untangle some of the complexities of his own existence. Lucy, whose past and career have both been shaped by her own experiences of loneliness, loss, and longing, becomes a mirror for Bob. In their conversations, Lucy reveals her own vulnerabilities, her complicated relationships with family and friends, and her struggles with finding a sense of home and belonging. The conversations between Bob and Lucy reveal how much these two seemingly ordinary characters have in common. Both have lived lives marked by isolation and internal conflict, and both are trying to make sense of who they are in a world that can sometimes seem indifferent. Lucy's arrival in Crosby, however, is not merely a backdrop for Bob's journey. Her own life, as an artist and a person, unfolds through her interactions with Bob and others in the town. She is, at first, an outsider, someone who observes and quietly participates in the lives of those around her. Yet, as she settles into Crosby, she begins to unearth her own past, revisiting painful moments and confronting the emotional wounds she has spent a lifetime attempting to heal. Her connection with Bob becomes a central part of her own exploration of what it means to truly understand someone, as well as what it means to be understood. As Bob and Lucy's relationship deepens, the small town of Crosby begins to take on a life of its own. Strout's depiction of Crosby is one of remarkable detail, a place where everyone knows one another, where everyone's business is, in some sense, public, but also a town where the interior lives of its inhabitants remain largely hidden. The town becomes a character in its own right, shaping and reshaping the lives of those who live there. Through the characters' perspectives, we are introduced to a town full of stories that are often untold, yet always felt. One of the key themes of Tell Me Everything is the idea of unrecorded lives, the stories that people never share, the truths they never tell, and the ways in which their lives are shaped by these silences. Strout masterfully weaves this theme throughout the novel, giving voice to characters whose internal lives have often been ignored or overshadowed by more visible narratives. The book asks the question, how many lives do we live, and how many do we miss, simply because we are not looking closely enough? In this context, the character of Olive Kitteridge, whom readers may recognize from Strout's previous works, emerges as a significant figure in Tell Me Everything. Olive, now living in a retirement community after the death of her husband, Henry, offers a viewpoint that is both wise and acerbic. Her sharp observations about the world around her, and the people in it, contrast with her own emotional isolation. Olive's complex relationship with her son, Christopher, and her earlier confrontations with life and love, resonate deeply in this novel. Olive's interactions with Lucy provide an avenue through which Strout can explore not only Olive's character but also the nature of storytelling itself. Olive, though often irritable and difficult, harbors a wealth of untold stories, and her exchanges with Lucy become a means of both reliving her past and finding a form of reconciliation with it. A pivotal moment in the novel involves the mysterious death of Gloria Beach, a local woman whose body is discovered in a quarry. Gloria's son, Matt, is a quiet, reclusive artist who is quickly implicated in the crime, and Bob, as Gloria's family lawyer, becomes involved in defending him. As Bob works on the case, he is forced to confront his own childhood trauma, the death of his father, which has always remained a dark, unspoken part of his life. Strout links these two events, the unsolved mystery of Gloria's death and Bob's unresolved grief, by showing how the past continues to haunt the present, shaping the lives of those who think they have moved on. The investigation into Gloria's death becomes more than just a plot point, it serves as a way to explore the ways in which people deal with secrets, shame, and guilt. Bob's involvement in the case forces him to reckon with his own feelings of inadequacy and fear. It also brings him face to face with the painful realization that people are often not what they appear to be on the surface. The case provides Bob with an opportunity to confront his own ghosts and, in the process, reveals some of the darker, more complicated aspects of Crosby itself. Through Tell Me Everything, Strout invites the reader to consider the delicate balance between what is spoken and what is left unsaid. The novel reveals the richness of the lives around us, often hidden in plain sight. It offers an exploration of the human desire to connect and to understand, but also the realization that understanding is elusive, and that people are complex and contradictory beings. The novel is filled with quiet moments of introspection, and Strout's prose is spare but evocative, capturing the inner turmoil and longing of her characters. The relationships in Tell Me Everything are beautifully drawn, with moments of tenderness and quiet insight that make the novel feel incredibly intimate. Through Bob's journey of self-discovery, Lucy's exploration of her past, and Olive's contemplations about her life, Strout weaves a story that speaks to the universal human experience of searching for meaning in a world that often seems indifferent. The small town of Crosby becomes a microcosm for the larger themes of love, loss, memory, and identity. Strout's portrayal of the characters is rich and nuanced, making them feel fully realized and incredibly relatable. Bob and Lucy, in particular, serve as vessels for exploring themes of emotional isolation and connection, their complex relationship showing the ways in which friendship can sometimes transcend the boundaries of conventional relationships. The novel's pacing is deliberate, allowing Strout to unpack her characters' motivations and the nuances of their emotional lives with care and attention to detail. In conclusion, Tell Me Everything is a beautifully written novel about the quiet, often invisible lives we live, the stories we carry with us, and the search for understanding and redemption. Elizabeth Strout's exploration of the human condition, through the lives of characters like Bob, Lucy, Olive, and others, is a testament to her gift for crafting emotionally rich and resonant narratives. With its masterful depiction of human connection, Tell Me Everything is a compelling, thought-provoking journey into the heart of what it means to be human.